I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you about your book, which I have a copy of, so I've had a chance to see it, and just to ask some questions, to explore some of the issues that arise as a result. So I'd like to start with Margaretta. When did you actually become interested in longevity, and what work led you to work in this area? What were the motivations?
So I initially became interested in longevity about 30 years ago. And I was born and raised in San Francisco, and health and the idea of longevity has been a topic here for a really long time. So it really wasn't that unusual that I was, involved in it and drawn to it. But the part of it that I was really interested in for many years was the aging research. So I read a lot of, the studies that were being done, and I kept track of all the advancements over many, many years. And it was really exciting because you could really see that there were advancements and you could always see the progress. And, in the county where I live is the #1 research place in the entire world for aging research. It's called the Buck Institute for Research on Aging. And it's a fantastic place. They have 250 scientists in 19 labs, and they're really serious scientists who are studying longevity. And so, living in a place that has something like that, it really makes you take it seriously. And I've been fortunate enough to know a lot of the scientists who are doing research there, and I'm following their research really closely, and it's really exciting. They're making a lot of progress. And one of the things, they're very progressive in their thinking at the book. For example, they started the first institute that studies female aging and female reproductive aging. And they're studying the relationship between reproductive aging in women and aging. And that's the first place in the world that's done that. So I follow that very closely. And so this entire time I would go to conferences and I would read all the books on aging, but I was completely focused on science and technology. That entire time I was working in software companies, and I was always thinking, there's so many advances in software. This is really going to help us make advances in longevity. But I was only considering the medical science until I met Dmitry. And when I met Dmitry, it completely changed the way I thought about longevity, because he described all about the longevity economy and how, if people can live extra long lives, like they can live till they're 120 or 130, he described to me how they can afford to live that long. And I'd always wondered, but he had a plan. So, he has a very, very in-depth understanding of how we can change things so that we can all be financially secure as we age. And he also understands a lot of the other areas, like the policy and the government initiatives. So he convinced me to leave software and come and work in longevity. So the whole reason I'm working in longevity is because I was so impressed with Dmitry. And it's just so motivating to work with someone who knows so much and is so committed to changing things. We're the first generation in all of human history who can really change things and decrease suffering and help people have really healthy lives, higher quality lives. So it's just I feel really fortunate to be able to work in this area.
Margaretta, just in case, of course, the book is and our entire, kind of trajectory during the last 3 years, it's a joint work, including.
It's joint work, but you've inspired me, Dmitry.
Well, before I ask Dmitry a question, could I just ask about the graph you showed when the decline starts? Mm-hmm. I hope that doesn't mean it's too late for anyone that's halfway down that decline.
No, but it's like, so I think that's a very interesting graph. And when Alex, who's the founder of In Silico Medicine, first showed that to me, it made a really big impression on me. And, I try to live a healthy life, and I always have. I'm very healthy, but it made me think, gosh, you see how you have to do some intervention pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a very important thing for everybody to think about. Because when you're 35, you feel so healthy and vibrant, and you think, oh, I'm fine, but actually inside of your body, you're already aging.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to turn to Dmitry, and I'm going to say, the longevity industry, you seem to have a much broader definition of the longevity industry than most investors will have. It includes tech sectors, financial sectors, for example. What does it mean to define the longevity industry? What is the exact meaning of that phrase, the definition of the longevity industry?
Yes, Karen, indeed. This, 3-5 years ago, it was a big change. What is anti-aging industry? What is regenerative medicine industry? What is biotech? Where is longevity? Where is investment side? Where is technology? Where is policy? So if you will speak with scientists in longevity research, they will say longevity it's about science. If you speak with financiers, they will say money. This is what kind of the real power in the world. Everything. Like only money will kind of make the final decisions. If you will speak with government people, they will say, we are the decision makers. So like if you will speak with, let's say, insurance companies or pension funds, they will say, we are comprising 99% of the entire capitalization of the industry. So every part, every people who are somehow involved with the industry, they are thinking that they are the real industry. We decided not to think to, let's say, provide some more holistic view on the industry. So we defined science of longevity and aging. We defined biomedicine. We defined age tech, which is very significant part of this industry. And of course, we defined this longevity financial industry. And by the way, even within each of that subsectors, you can also divide it into sectors and subsectors, and this multi-layer, let's say, logical pyramids. So I'm sorry, I probably didn't share. So this is just in case, science, medicine, age tech, financial industry, and then within financial industry, age tech, wealth tech, longevity, and asset management. And yeah, so it's quite important, for people, for public, and also for, let's say, participants of the industry to understand what does it mean the industry. So this is why defining the industry.
Thank you. You mentioned age tech. Margaretta, age tech, is that a well understood terminology, and does it get enough attention? Could you actually perhaps describe it for me?
Yeah, I'm really interested in age tech, and it's only been around for about 10 years, and most people don't even know what age tech is, but it's really interesting, and it can really be helpful to older people. So first of all, it's not deep science. Age tech are just practical applications that we can use to put into things to make them easier for older people to use. So for example, like tablets, computers, phones, banking interfaces. There's all these things we can do to make it easier for older people to use things. And when I say older, even for 50 and 60-year-olds, like the Apple has the touch tone with their, you don't have to remember a password. You can just use your face to use the Apple Card and stuff. That's age tech. But in the entire longevity industry, age tech is a significant part. It's like I think it's about $2 trillion out of the whole industry. So that's important. And what age tech seeks to do is to make things, the user experience for older people much better. So it takes away complexity. It can do things like in banking applications, it can help protect older people from fraud. It can just make, it's going to be embedded in things. So you won't even know you have age tech. It'll be in things like cars, it'll be in stores, in hospitals, in all your devices. And if they use AI in age tech, you can really personalize a person's experience. So an older person won't have to worry about all these little, the minutia. They can just use the device. So I think it's really exciting, and I'm looking really forward to much more age tech.
Thank you. Dmitry, you showed the slide of the front cover, which is the 3D cube. What's actually the meaning of the 3D cube? Could you just explain it a little bit?
Yeah, in longevity industry, there are two issues which you will not face or find in any other industry, including biotech or biomedicine. So first of all, it's extremely broad, as I explained before. There's a lot of compounds, a lot of very significant parts of the industry. But also, which is even more difficult and challenging, it's the over complexity of the industry. So again, there's some, first of all, science of aging, it's much beyond just biomedicine. So to achieve the state of precision health, it's 10 times more complicated, more complex compared with precision medicine. And to design, for example, relevant investment strategies, so to analyze, this industry on the global scale, you need to apply much more advanced, analytical techniques. So that's why the mega complexity of the industry actually, introduces significant challenges, issues, but also opportunities. And this cube, so in particular, we are applying some advanced data science techniques, including such a specific term, multi-dimensional vector space. So we're using at least 3D dimensions to analyze the industry in some particular domains on the industry. But in reality, even 6 dimensions and even more. So this is this cube actually represents, this let's say, complexity, over complexity, and multi-dimensionality of the industry. We're applying, this is just kind of several, screenshots, snapshots of some techniques which we're applying and some dashboards, including, for example, we are using so-called technology readiness levels. This is, used for technological forecasting and actually to predict when some theoretical deep science research potentially could be transferred to practical applications. And at the same time, it's quite simple tool to de-risk investments, in the sense that not to invest in something which is yet far away from market. At the same time, our analytical subsidiary, Aging Analytics Agency, in the next several months, will launch a new product. It will be a big data analytical system. Actually, it will be in the form of, with advanced visualization in the form of these dashboards. And it will be focused on investment analytics and financial analytics, and the overall idea to profile all the players in the industry. It is approximately, currently it is around 50,000 entities and laboratories and personalities, investors, so on. But at the same time, to derive, the leaders among them, to apply some specific benchmarking. And indeed, within we identified these 10 sectors of longevity industry. We're using this to design investment strategy for longevity capital, our investment fund. But that analytical dashboard will provide some very advanced insights on this matter. So to go back to your question in particular, the cube, it's like a simple, delivering simple explanation why and why this longevity industry is over complex.
Thank you. Margaretta, you mentioned AI and you've written and also in longevity now. Why do you think that AI has got such an important role? And of course, it is what brought us together, our interest in AI in the pharma value chain. So I'd really like to understand what his special role is in longevity.
So yeah, it is what brought us together, Karen. That's how we met. So it's great. I've met a lot of people through my interest in using AI in medicine. So, in biomedical research, they're producing massive amounts of data, huge amounts, and it far exceeds anything humans can analyze. So we need AI, and AI can take this data. And by the way, data is the most valuable commodity in the world, and there's a lot of it. So if we use AI, we can analyze this data and we can make forecasts, we can help diagnose patients, but we can also personalize things like, for example, if we want precision health, we can have AI monitoring our health continually and then helping doctors give us very specific treatments individual to us, including the dosing of medicine. So, if we don't use doctors, I mean, if we don't use AI and we only rely on doctors, we won't have as personalized an experience. So AI can really help improve the experience. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I think that a lot of people think that if we use AI, it'll depersonalize our experience in medicine, but it's the opposite. It can help us get much better care, much quicker, cheaper, and continually monitor. Like if you wear wearables and we include AI, we can monitor our health on an ongoing basis, and we'll be able to take care of ourselves and predict disease. And the sooner you predict disease, the better you can do, curing it and making yourself get better.
Maybe I can add this on this matter. Margaretta, maybe you will explain about this Alphago moment in pharma.
Oh, okay, so back in September, our portfolio company in Silico Medicine announced that they had used AI to identify a drug target for a disease in just 21 days. And this is the first time that had ever happened. Usually when companies are trying to find a target, it takes years. And there's many phases in drug discovery, but this is the very first phase. And they did it really quickly. And we wrote an article about it, and it caused a big stir. It was really exciting. Go ahead.
So, I will add here. So
yes.
Alphago moment, it was particular landmark event in the growth of artificial intelligence synthesis, and it was done by a deep mind of Google. So they created Alphago system to beat the world champion in the Alphago game, which was considered, kind of impossible for artificial intelligence. But that was the turning point in for the growth of artificial intelligence synthesis. It was in 2017. In Silico Medicine, by the way, we were the first investors into this company back in 2014. So they made experiment in 2018, and it took them another year to publish it in September 2019 in Nature journal, providing the actual evidence of these results that artificial intelligence could be used not only for Alphago games but also to design new drugs. Now that was in 2018. Now we are September 2020, 2 years since that. The artificial intelligence made very significant progress, including longevity research, and we can absolutely, without any doubt, predict that in the next 2-3 years there will be real, very strong breakthrough in applications of artificial intelligence for longevity research.
Thank you. 5 years ago, Dmitry, you announced your intention to give $1 million prize money to the first person to reach 123 years and beat the current record holder, Jean Colment, who lived to be 122 years old. What motivated you to do this?
Yes, indeed. So it was in 2015. And, as I previously at the beginning of this conference mentioned, in 2013, 14, 15, this field was yet, something kind of unpopular. Many people were concerned, and most of them even didn't knew that, there were such people who lived up till this 122 years and a half. And, we decided to establish this prize. Actually, it will be a birthday gift to the first person who will celebrate his or her 123rd birthday. And the point is that you shall understand that it's the difference only 6 months. This person died back in 1997. Apparently she had very strong genetic predisposition for extra long living. But the point is that during these 23 years from 1997 to 2020, there's a lot of progress in biomedicine. And if she would live now, apparently she would live at least 6 months more. I would say maybe 5, maybe 10 years more. So, for sure, this 125, 130 is more realistic. But this particular initiative, it was, the idea to incentivize people to pay attention to this field, and that actual super advanced life extension is possible. So that was, the idea behind this initiative.
Well, it certainly grabbed attention. So Margaretta, we've talked about clinical trials, we've talked about longevity. What is the current progress with longevity in clinical trials?
So clinical trials for longevity are extremely important, And there's a number of clinical trials that are going on right now. And we wrote an article about this a few months ago, and we've devoted an entire chapter in our book to clinical trials for longevity. And there's some trials that are, trials on humans, but many of the trials are on mice. And I think it's important to be careful, because just because something works in mice doesn't mean it's going to work in people. And so although it is interesting and exciting, some of the results we're getting, it doesn't mean it's going to translate to, to humans. And we follow clinical trials really closely. And in our next book, 2.0, we're going to have much more precise information, because we'll have more time to see what happens in the clinical trials that are happening right now. But we follow those really closely, and we're very interested in that. Dmitry, do you want to mention something else about clinical trials?
Yes, I will, but probably in the next question. But
Okay.
definitely cover this topic.
Okay, so the next question that I thought I wanted to raise with you is, the book features an entire section on the longevity financial industry. And I understand that that's a term that you've actually coined. How exactly does the financial sector intersect with the longevity sector?
Yes, Karen, thank you for this question. So unfortunately, currently, longevity financial industry is huge. It's like, I think, more than $10 trillion in total. However, it is not at all connected with science for longevity. This is two absolutely different, universes. There's advanced science for longevity, in some cases advanced biomedicine with some practical application. And there's almost a zero connection with, financial industry. Now, the real, how to make that bridge actually happen, how to unite those different compounds, and how to ensure that further development of the industry will be, harmonized between science, technology, medicine, financial industry, policy, governance, so on and so forth. So this might be kind of a little bit unusual for people who are not aware with science, but for any scientist who is now in aging research, they know that the major topic which is for discussion for any longevity aging research conference, it will be about biomarkers of longevity. So this is the major roadblock and essential, bottleneck for further development of science, technology, and medicine, including financial industry. This is our, absolutely, we are confident. So biomarkers of longevity, this is markers capable to identify the current biological age of any individual given person. And actually, this is already possible now. This is not far future. This is already now. This is like, it was even possible 1 year ago. Now, in the next 1 to 2 years, we are expecting that there will be developed good enough so-called panels of biomarkers of aging and longevity capable to analyze whether some particular interventions, some particular drugs, maybe let's say treatments or some, micro dosage of subtherapeutic dosage of drugs, whether they are providing positive, negative, or just placebo effect, and whether some technologies can slow down aging, freeze aging, or even reverse aging. And the point is that the problem with current biotech industry that even despite the fact that it's much less complex compared to longevity research, longevity industry, even there, the approximate failure rate in transition from mice to humans is 92%. We are predicting that in case of longevity, this failure rate will be up to 99%. And we are quite concerned at all if the mice could be used as the test platform for, drug discovery and clinical trials in aging research. There should be applied much more, novel, modern, sophisticated techniques using data science, artificial intelligence, using biomarkers of longevity in humans. That means that some trials could be done in, in micro, so-called high-frequency micro personalized experimentation with very advanced enhanced by artificial intelligence prediction. This special case study was conducted by Aging Analytics Agency 1 year ago. So by the time we profiled all laboratories and companies working on biomarkers of longevity and aging, In the next 2 months, we'll make the second edition. And the point is that how it is connected with financial industry, in particular with investment. So I think that in 2020, if any one investor considering that their investment fund or they're somehow working in longevity in preventive medicine, if they are relying on results derived from mice, this is a very risky investment. We are quite confident that for any financial, in particular investment decisions, assessments, due diligence shall be applied biomarkers of aging and longevity being applied to humans. So in the next 1, 2, maximum 3 years, we are predicting that these biomarkers of aging and longevity in humans, they will become very tangible, quantifiable, so-called signals for decision making. So in case that hedge funds, they're applying a lot of data science techniques using signals without, just kind of human intuition. These tangible tools, data science techniques empowered by artificial intelligence, they will become the tangible, leverages or enablers to create sophisticated, pragmatic, modern financial instruments, including derivatives and different other financial instruments.
Thank